It's been 4 months since I've completed the LS swap on my 1999 Porsche 911, and it's time to start addressing the mistakes that were made during the swap. Well, other than the decision to make the swap in the first place, and also to keep driving a healthy engine on a racetrack that was giving erratic oil pressure readings, which led to all this blowing up and happening in the first place. Yes, mistakes were made with this swap that will likely affect the longevity of this Chevy LS2 that I sourced from a wrecked 2006 Chevy Corvette, as well as from a power, drivability, and even a safety standpoint. The first thing I end up addressing, of course, is the power, because I'm an idiot, and to show you what I've done, I've made this artsy little film. Take a look. I always had a thing for Porsche 911s. Growing up, my dad had a 911 Targa and then later a 930 Turbo. That thing was amazing. And later a 2004 911 Turbo Cabriolet, and that was his last Porsche. And even though I've owned a number of cars, many cars, I never had a Porsche 911. And I reached 30 years old and realized I needed to get one, so I found the cheapest Porsche 911 in the United States for only $9,500. And I didn't realize until now that owning a Porsche can ruin your life. Stop throwing money at it, fixing things, making my own personal touches, and before I knew it, I was spending more money on it than... and it just doesn't stop. I am obsessed with it. It's the first thing I think about when I wake up and the last thing I think about when I go to sleep. And when the Porsche is not in my garage at home, I worry about it, I think about it, I just want to be with it. I want to be close to it. I want to touch its leather. I want to smell its smells and just be one with this car. It's so important to me. I might have let other parts of my life go in the process.
When I just met Tyler, he was really sweet, and we had a lot of fun together. We travel a lot, but since he got his Porsche, I barely seen him.
Now my 911 has a proper 3-inch exhaust on it, going through some high-flow mufflers. Before, the car wizard concocted a way to route the Corvette engine exhaust gases through the stock Porsche mufflers, and it sounded weird. Additionally, the car wizard is a decent welder, but that's not his specialty, and the pipes he cobbled together to make this work were already starting to have pinhole leaks at the welds. The exhaust was slowly starting to make my Porsche sound like a redneck's 1981 Camaro, and I was told when I took my Porsche to the dyno shop that the exhaust seemed to be very restrictive and was robbing me of a lot of power. Turned out he was right. I'm sure the incredible noise makes it feel faster as well, but the seat of the pants feeling is pretty wild too. So now I have a bullet of a car, but like a bullet, it's not wanting to stop or turn. So I've taken one of the best handling cars in the world, messed up the balance and the driving characteristics, and made it into something like a muscle car that's useless except for going in a straight line. So really, there's a lot of tweaking and tuning to the chassis of this car to get it back to that dialed-in feeling that makes a 911 so great. I'm going to have to get some kind of adjustable shock system to get the car balanced out properly again, and upgrade the brakes to match the 150 or so horsepower that's now rocketing this thing along. I'm also a little worried about cooling whenever I try to do a track day, though it's never even hinted at overheating with everything going through the stock Porsche radiator. I'm still a little worried about it on a track with sustained high-speed driving. The dyno man also told me my fuel system was at its limit and the fuel pump should be upgraded as well. I also probably need to insulate the interior a little better to make the exhaust not quite as obnoxious in the cabin, and I hate the tachometer that I have in there. Now, another person who did this swap told me how to make the stock Porsche one work. Apparently, the Corvette engine computer has to be reprogrammed to send out the right kind of tach signal for the Porsche one to work, which explains why the Porsche tach went haywire when we tried wiring it up. So, like all car builds, it really is a never-ending journey. I used to laugh at all the people with build cars that were never finished, and now that I have one myself, I totally understand. When you divide up all the money I spent on this high mileage, least desirable 911, we are so far away from once upon a time when this was the cheapest Porsche 911 in the USA. I could have comfortably made the lease payments on a new Porsche GT3, but I guess you all wouldn't be watching if I made good decisions. So I'm stuck on the spiral of certain destruction just because I can't quit you guys. So really, please subscribe to this madness if you haven't already. Seriously, it makes this all seem like a legitimate business venture if I have a large following, although it never will be with the money I spend on this stuff, and thank you for watching.
What else is it's essence. What?
Really? You woke up thinking about
What?
us going to bed.
I know.
Thinking about it. You are exaggerating.
I know, I'm exaggerating for the comedic effect.
Okay.
Just improv it.
Oh my god. Okay. Where should I start?
Just start out, when I met Tyler, he was so nice and attentive, and we did all these things together and traveled and had lots of fun, and then he bought this Porsche, and I really haven't seen him since.